Hey, everybody. I decided that I was just going to get online and say hello to everybody, but also do some live Q&A. So whoever is here is welcome to ask whatever you want. This is a late night tea with Z because I'm in California and it's late. But if you are someplace else, let me know. Where are you tuning in from, and what questions do you have? I'm gonna start the TikTok feed as usual. Right now, we are streaming to Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. So it's going to be a fun time. Let me move this over here. Hi, everybody. How are you? We are just getting started. Let me know where you are tuning in from. I'm going to give you all a second to trickle in. I know it's like delayed as molasses. But I really wanted to have some fun. And if you hadn't noticed yet on this new series, ZTV, I'm trying to give you space to be able to ask whatever it is that you are wanting to ask. And be comfortable talking about things that you don't usually talk about. And also, there is a link now, which I'll be sharing in the community on YouTube, an anonymous questions link. And you can pick the topic that you want to ask about and submit it that way as well. So if you are just tuning in, say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. What time is it where you are? It's 9:21 here. It's 9:21 here. I also realized in Z School for the Gifted, if you've never attended any of those, I get a lot of questions that folks tend to start their statement with like, is it okay to ask this here? So I just want to tell everybody that 10,000% it's always okay to ask whatever question you have. I'm not gonna like get upset with you, and I love creating spaces where you feel comfortable. Hey everybody, hey TikTok. I'm doing an Ask Me Anything late night tea with Z. So if you have any questions about spirituality or love or business or things that have just been on your mind and you're like, I don't know who the heck to talk to about this, I'm the perfect person to ask. So this is just going to be a late night like advice giving or whatever you want. I just wanted to hold space for everyone, say hello and check in with you all. Someone is tuning in from Los Angeles. I love your like YouTube name, Sun Lover. Sun Lover. I'm a sun lover. I was laying in the sun earlier today. I usually go in the afternoon, but I was like, I'm going to go in the rising when it's absolutely beautiful and nobody's out there. And I just sat in the sun, in the sand with a bunch of ducks and like other wildlife, and then like got into the water. It was like, this is amazing. We have someone from Nevada. Hey, Nevada. Where else is everybody tuning in from? What time is it where you are? 9:22 p.m. So we're all in the same time zone. Cool. I love it. I like Georgia, we have on TikTok 1223 from someone's name Nobody. Nobody. Are you nobody? But you're a somebody. I know that you are. TikTok, if you are just tuning in, I'm doing a late night tea with Z, and you can ask me anything you want, and I'm going to give advice because I am a coach, I'm a healer, I'm a psychic, I'm a seer, I'm all the things. I speak to spirits. I like candles. There's nothing I don't do, and I've had a very odd life. So I've got a lot of knowledge to share, and I just wanted to be available to folks. I'm only what people label me. Ah, I seek no titles or positions. I love that. So you're just out there being a free bird, nobody. I love that. You live in your liberation. I love that. If you have questions or anybody on TikTok, you ask away. It doesn't matter what it is. This is like, I put uncensored in the title. It's not on there for you, TikTok, but uncensored meaning like you can ask me anything you want and I'm going to answer as long as you are not being offensive. As long as you're not being offensive, I will answer. Hello, Angela. Okay, someone wrote, I feel like I'm holding myself back from doing stuff like sitting in nature and stuff. Maybe I'm just keeping myself safe, question mark, but I'm craving to put myself out there more. Okay. I love this question. I was actually just talking to a couple of clients about this. And, the biggest thing is most of the time in our lives, we avoid doing the one thing that we want to do because we fear the outcome. We literally fear the outcome. And even if it's not on a conscious level, subconsciously, we fear that it's going to be peaceful. It's going to feel really good. It's going to help you out. So we will sabotage the one thing that we actually want in our life. And sometimes we will fill our time with other stuff that can be really distracting. So tell me about your like routine throughout the day. Like when are you wanting to get out in nature? And something that I also teach, I have a workshop coming up in June. It's called the Kick the Shit Challenge. And I teach people how to always follow through when this happens. It's like my specialty because I have lived with depression, anxiety, PTSD. I've had, eating disorder, like many, 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 many things. And so learning, yay, thanks TikTok, learning how to follow through is key to living a really beautiful life. So let me know like what's in your environment. When are you trying to go? What's usually happening when you don't want to follow through for yourself? Let me check TikTok. Okay, let me make sure I'm reading this correctly because there's things going on both screens and y'all know how I am with multitasking. I thought this was a good idea because I enjoy it so much, but I'm like, huh? Wait, I saw something. Someone said something and now I can't find it. You're welcome to say it again, TikTok. TikTok as in community. Hi, it's so good to see you. Hello, hello. There you are. Okay, I got it. Feel free to drop any sort of question that you have. I'm here to answer it. It doesn't matter what it is. Um, Sun Lava, how does one alchemize? Hey, I forgot I can do this. I can pin it to the top. Or how does one alchemize negative energy specifically at work? Okay, work. Work, and not the fun kind. So, something that I always recommend for people is you need to have a deep understanding of how you show up at work. Because a lot of the times, while yes, we can be subjected to others' poor behaviors, folks like low energy, it's also going to be up to us to teach people how to treat us, even in the office space. And I'm an activist as well. So, something that I did, because I was in corporate life for a long time and I worked with a lot of big wigs because I was in the fashion space and did like international things and blah blah blah. And the higher up you go, the less females and less like people of color there are. But I was also really spiritual, and I had to learn really early on, like who I was in the workspace, how I valued myself, how to articulate that, and how to create boundaries. And I also decided that I wanted to learn about laws that could protect me within the office space. So I We actually did as a group these, quizzes to get to know yourself and how you show up in leadership and what works best for you. And I kind of encouraged that in the office. So then everybody had to like get to know themselves. And, I'm a CD and I am a blah, 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 blah. So I meant to be a leader. And it's like, don't approach me without like certain information, or I'm just not going to talk to you. But I also took accountability because we worked in an open space. So I don't know what kind of working space you're in. But I had a rule with people, and I just told them, I was like, I would appreciate it that if you are coming up to my desk, especially in the rising, you need to like pause, check in and say good morning. And also, um, give me time to do what I need to do. Like, because a lot of people would come up and just start rattling things off, and I would turn to them and be like, hello. Right. So we have to, in the office space, the best way to alchemize energy is to have physical boundaries and also a strong sense of advocacy. Great conversation. Thanks. Hi. It's so great to meet you. Yeah. If you have questions, TikTok, feel free to ask anything you want. And I feel like sometimes it can be really challenging in the workspace because you don't want to lose your income, which is why I educated myself on what laws would protect me. So I knew about retaliation. I knew what they could and could not do. I knew what trigger words I needed to use to get people to listen to me legally and get them to take action if I felt unsafe. But a lot of the times it's boundaries, and I don't know what kind of work you do, but feel free to tell me more, and I can always chime in. um Sunny D, Spirit always leading me to your lives. Hallelujah. Yes, I love it so much. I'm so glad you're here. Hi, Ancient Eyes. It's so great to see you. I saw one of your comments on something, but I didn't get to respond. Um, yeah, I definitely have avoidance habits and neurodivergent. Okay, as am I. I think I talk myself out of things because it makes me have to leave my comfort zone. Having to be seen has been hard for me. Yeah. So you are in the right space, definitely. And you should come to Z School for the Gifted because we have a session on Thursday. It happens weekly and it's only $22. Um, so I am also neurodivergent, and it's really easy to get stuck inside and sabotage yourself and kind of sink into the energy that you are most familiar with. And I would do are you is like movement accessible to you? Like, are you able to move around and do those things in the rising? Because a lot of the times I find with my neurodivergent clients, doing things earlier in the day so they can steady their mind in the ways that work for them, right? Because every person is different. Meditation is different from person to person. And then also curating their space, which is what I teach in the Kick the Shit challenge, to entice you to get outside, and then do it in a way that reconditions your mind to remember that it feels really good to do the things that you love. Helps with that. So what is your like rising routine? Let's see. I am okay, I am in corporate. I am in corporate. My boss recently told me she wants to retire soon, and I'm going to tell her I'm not interested in the position. Good for you. I'm going to follow my heart instead. I'm scared, but I know it's the right choice. Yeah. So, definitely follow your heart. What are you most scared about? Is it the articulation? Um, and like, how is your boss? I know that many times when I would go into conversations, I would be really nervous all the time when I was in corporate. And I've had a lot of clients who are in corporate as well, and they have similar things that happen, right? Because when you're trying to communicate with someone who's in a position of power, it's inherently scary. And that was something that I always, because I was in the DEI space as well. Of course, happy to help. I was in the DEI space as well, and so I was constantly telling the leadership team that you need to give better advice, than just telling people to go talk to their managers, because sometimes their managers are a little hostile, right? And so the managers are in a position of power. And so anybody who works under them is seen to have less power, which then they will feel that way, which makes it harder to have conversations. So unless the entire leadership team are angels and know how to hold space, that conversation is going to be really difficult. So it's best to have great training for your leadership team. So know that like it's perfectly normal to feel nervous, like completely nervous and scared. And something that I told someone else before is like, when you go into the conversation, make sure you have things written down for you. Don't go into the conversation without having points written down, right? Like, put like what you want to say bullet point by bullet point, and use that so when your energy is moving around, you have those notes. And sometimes people go into meetings like really weirded out or ashamed that they have notes to follow, but it's normal. Like, I would go into meetings and people actually started, sometimes they would get nervous if I had my notes because they knew I was actually there to talk to them. They're like, "Oh, you have a lot of notes." Like, "Oh, I like have I need time to talk to you, and so I need to make sure that I have everything in order." Um and that I'm staying on track, right? So go in, make sure you have things written down, and even if you can, like, sometimes you got to set the stage, right? Like, I want to have this conversation with you. I have these notes. Is it all right if I tell you, X, Y, and Z about this role? Like, if they start talking about it and be like, it's not really for me. And I've kind of put down some information of why it's not. And I wanted to share it with you. I'm like really grateful for the opportunity, but it's not for me. Thanks. Bye. Right. So, like, having a plan, because that's what happens, like when your brain and your energy don't have a plan, it's like going into any sort of change in general, you need to have a safety net. So when you make it a little predictable for yourself, you can like calm your nervous system down. So I would go in and like really try and write things down if possible. Does that sound comfortable to you? Like, is that something you think you would do? I deal with hostile managers. Yeah, it's not fun. Hostile managers are very challenging to be around. I've had quite a few. That's why I got really good at it. Um, and I'm actually going to be bringing a workshop back that's specifically for folks who are in corporate. And I have one that's around asking for promotions and like how to time it with your fiscal calendar, and like how to not let your boss get away with doing nothing. Doing nothing. I used to do it. It was like my favorite thing to do in corporate life. I would go, like, I was like known for being the person that folks would go to and ask questions. I'm like, yeah, I got you. I'm going to teach you about the fiscal calendar because I use it all the time. And then I'm going to tell you, like, this is what happens legally. And then this is when you're going to ask. This is what you're going to write down. It was so fun. I guess I don't want her to be, hold on, let me put this here. I guess I don't want her to be mad at me, but I feel I can articulate it in a way that she will hopefully be understanding. But I think she'll feel some type of way. Okay, so let's pause. So something that I love teaching people is so this is like what you are fearing is an outcome that isn't real yet. You don't know if it's going to happen, and so you're putting out this energy of it's going to go bad. Again, that's your brain trying to predict what's going to happen. But the best thing you can do for your brain is like, we're just going to see what's going to happen and we're not going to worry, right? Because your brain is worrying because it's like, I need to be in survival mode. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want them to be mad. Like, you're in self-preservation, right? You probably were subjected to people who were harmful, which is why that tends to happen a lot more. And basically what I've told folks before is, you are telling yourself this grandiose Lord of the Rings tale when really, like, you haven't even done anything, right? You've put yourself into a spiral without even realizing that there could be a spiral up. There could be a best case scenario. But at the end of the day, you have the know-how to be able to handle it anyways. And so you can either choose to sit within that frequency of worry and believe a story that you just made up, or You can be in the present moment, meditate, write down your notes, do your best, see how the conversation goes, and just let it be, right? Because sometimes when we do all those things and then we like manifest that outcome, it becomes like a confirmation bias of like, see, I knew this was going to happen. And then we believe it. And then it's like this whole spiral. But this is when you have the opportunity to like break the cycle. Break the cycle. So don't believe the story, the grandiose Lord of the Rings story. You don't have any facts. I say, and someone taught me this, assuming makes an ass of you and me. Right? So we don't assume the outcome. Can we, yes, maybe like feel into they might be mad based on facts? That's different, right? Like reading someone's behavior. But you are going to come from a different frequency and manifest a different outcome, and approach it differently. Hi, TikTok. Yo, what tattoos you got? I have a ton of tattoos. I have this one. It's for my ancestors. It's like in kind of like an indigenous meets Egyptian vibe for my ancestors. I got Sailor Moon on this one, and then this one was a gift from Oshun. It's someone who channeled this tattoo. And then I have a cross on my neck with roses for Mary. And then I have Icarus to remind me to not be an ass. And then I have a seahorse tattoo on my ankle for my my best friend who passed away. Let me go back, make sure I didn't miss anything. Feel free to ask whatever questions you want. I'm answering them. Thank you. I'll write down for sure. A dreading it. I asked her to let me sleep on it. She makes it seem like I'll have to compete for the job, prove myself, and I have more than proved. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't want it, you don't want it, right? So you don't even have to worry about the rest. Like, why put any more energy into thinking about it even, right? Like you're going in there like, nah, I already made my decision. I'm not competing for crap and I don't want it. So you're gonna go in like, here's my answer, bye-bye. Grateful to be here. Yay, happy accidents, right? Waking up, even if I sleep and I get enough rest, it's not easy ever. I think I've underregulated and not safe in my environment. So I learned how to live in a functional survival mode. Yeah, I've been there. And it's easy to slip into like getting stuck inside. Sometimes you don't even notice it happening until you realize that you can't actually do the thing that you want to do. Are you the type of person, I want to know your personality type. Are you the type of person that does well with other people? Like if you commit to something, will you show up? I'm curious. Thank you. Okay, myself already ridiculous, actually. Hello. Hi, Annie. Having problems in marriage and job. What will be outcome in both my marriage? I'm not doing energy reading. So if you want that, you'll have to book a session for that. But these are just life coaching questions. So I'm not doing any like prediction things. But what I can tell, the energy around it is different. My dad said that to me growing up all the time. I love that. Assuming makes an ass of you and me. I hope that's what you're referring to, because that is the best thing ever. But it's so true. Like we can either like I can sit here and assume what you're thinking, or I could just walk over there and freaking ask you. Because what is the point of sitting here and being like, oh, you know what they might think about me? Like, oh, I'm so scared of it. Like, shut up, homie. Like, that's what I tell myself. Like, just what? Go. Stop it. Gather the facts. Let me see. How do I speak to my guides and hear them? Ooh, that's a fun one. So speaking to your guides is interesting. So it depends on how you want to speak to them. But something that I recommend to my folks in Z School for the Gifted is to begin your journey with creating I think my iPad's gonna die. Let me see. I'm gonna show you. Hold on. I'll answer your question in 2 seconds. Oh no. TikTok family, I might disappear on you. Something weird is going on with my plugs lately. Okay, I've got 10%. We'll see how long it lasts. It's all crooked now. So something I recommend for folks in Z School for the Gifted is to create a soul contract with your guides on how you want them to communicate with you, so that they know that they are okay to speak to you. And the other thing is you need to sharpen your meditation. So, speaking and communicating with your guides all comes down to how you interpret energy, how you flow with energy, because you're on this side of the veil, they're on that side of the veil, and everything is energy. You have to understand the language of energy. If you don't grow your meditation practice, if you don't have like some sort of body scanning practice to understand how energy interacts with every surface of your body, and you can recognize it and you feel it, you're not going to be able to know, you're not going to be able to tell your flip from your finger. Or like if your guide is trying to talk to you, because they're communicating to you through energy. Even sound is energy. And you can do meditations where you visualize clearing out your ears and things like that. But there's a difference between being clairaudient and hearing things through your spiritual ears and then actually hearing them in your 3D ears. Because some people can do both, and sometimes you have like one or the other. So it just depends. I would create some sort of agreement with them so they know that they can communicate with you. Because sometimes if you also have like lower fears about it that you don't really know, you could be unintentionally blocking it. Um, Hello, pretty Rose. Hi, I love that name. I have roses tattooed on my back. I love roses. There's roses outside in the front, and I really want to clip them. I think I'm going to clip them tomorrow. They're not mine, but I'm going to clip them. Happy to help, Angela. Happy to help. I'm one of the most, oh yeah, and for folks, if you're just tuning in, you're welcome to ask any questions you want. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm happy to give advice. This is open for you all. And just a reminder, Z School for the Gifted is on Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Pacific. And we are on part 3 of clearing the chakras. And we're going to be doing heart space and throat. And I'm going to be doing some somatic work. So I'll be channeling people's ancestors and guides to deliver messages, which is what I do for everybody in the class. I'll answer your spiritual questions, and then we will get into the healing, because June, July, and August is all very fast manifestation energy. And so I've been journeying with the group to be able to help clear their energy and bring in their manifestation. So if you want to be involved in that, join Z School for the Gifted. The link is going to be in the description or in the bio. It's only $22, and we meet weekly, and we are leading up to all of this manifestation energy. So now is the perfect time. So if you want to hear your guides, you should come to this session, and I can work with you on a more intimate level. And I can meet you because it's in Zoom, so I can actually see you and we can conversate. Someone said, let's see here. I'm one of the most introverted personality types, and I have definitely called out a lot. Oh, from work. But I've gone to my therapy and other appointments more regularly, learned to be shy since I was young. Yeah. So being shy is like, it's interesting, because I used to be really shy, and I have clients who used to be shy, but when they really started to do their healing, they actually became less shy in a way, because they like, being shy can also be heavily rooted in fear of people seeing you and things like that. And so it's a matter of doing that generational healing and being okay with anxiety and learning how to shift out of it more naturally to be able to help yourself. And I was a very shy child for a little bit growing up, and I actually ended up fixing it. I was thinking about this the other day, and I also had a very bad stutter, which made me even more shy. And I distinctly remember, because my family would make fun of me, I distinctly remember walking to the garage, standing in front of the car, and I stared at myself and I forced myself to stop stuttering. And then my stutter went away. And I was like, I'm never gonna be shy again. Like it was like a weird thing. So like I totally get that. And I feel like as you get older too, depending on like how old you are, but from the time where you're young and until you're older, it can get a little bit more intense when it goes like unnoticed or unhealed for a while. And I would definitely say I've become shy in the romantic space. So it can like pop up whenever, but I totally get that. And I'm glad that you're going to therapy, but definitely like sit with that fear and like see if you can release it, because I bet you would um you would begin to open up. And for me it was like building confidence. So this is going to be a weird comparison. Hi TikTok. um I will answer your question in a second. A weird comparison, but I'm also a dog trainer, and so dogs can be really really nervous, and folks think it's because they've been in a shelter. That's not the case. They're dogs in a human world. Oops. So, like, you have to build the confidence of dogs so that they know how to do things and they know they're doing something right, so that they stop being nervous. And one of my dogs had anxiety attacks since I had her, and now she doesn't have any. But I had to build her confidence slowly to like teach her, like, you're doing an amazing job. So it was like a lot of positive reinforcement and a lot of like, I'm going to take care of you, even if you're having a panic attack, and we're going to go day by day. And it took me like 2 years to get her to the point where she is now, where she's social, because before it was like really really bad. So it's a matter of like building your confidence. Hi TikTok, how okay, you wrote hi, how are you, why do you think I have to cover my ears at night? I mean, it depends. Are you covering them because of sound, or are you covering them because of spirituality? A lot of people cover their ears and their head when it comes to spirituality because of the extra energy. I know in the beginning of my journey, before I learned how to shield and do dream locking, I covered my head a lot. And sometimes I'll do it in hotels if I don't have a head wrap or something, or I'll sleep with a towel on my head, so I can like slow the energy down. Let's see. Thank you. I finally accepted that I am a medium and trying to learn how to understand the pics they send me. Any suggestions? Yeah. So I would keep a journal of everything and start to piece it together that way. And it depends on what you are seeing. So if I knew more about your visuals, I could probably help you pull it apart, like in interpretations. But one of the best things to do with your guides is to learn how they communicate with you, because each group of guides is different and each ancestors are different, and they will rotate out at many different times. So, you know, I know, for instance, like my guides will take me through my childhood memories in order for me to explain what needs to be explained on YouTube and how to channel information. So that's how they'll communicate with me, and even through signs, visions, sounds, like astral travel. I work with time a lot, so they'll take me to like their time whenever they were alive as ancestors. So it's like you have to keep a catalog and look at the information so you can figure out what they're trying to say to you and be consistent about it. And you'll start to see little trends. And then you can also ask them to confirm in 3D, like, hey, can you like help me out with this? And usually you'll get some sort of confirmation. What are you intuiting on the recent anonymous announcement? Tanya, I don't know what you're talking about. Intuiting on the recent anonymous announcement. My announcement for the anonymous link? Is that what you mean? I don't think I know what you're talking about. Maybe I'm not caught up. um, let's see what else is in here. Yes, I came across the class once, but I worked at that time. I'm off in the summer now, so I can start coming in. Yay! Yeah, you should come on Thursday. Come on Thursday. It'll be a lot of fun. My ears have been ringing a lot lately. There's a lot of energy around right now, and it's very activating. And like the veil is very, very thin. very thin, and it's only getting thinner. Same. Oh, see, I realize um I may have, okay, aphantasia. I can't really visualize things with my eyes closed. I more so can visualize visually with my eyes open. Do you have any tips or exercises with this? Yeah, so that's actually interesting. Someone else told me that before, and I helped them be able to reverse it. Um, it's basically like you would do everything the same way. Fire gazing can be something that's extremely meditative. So if you have like a candle out in front of you and focusing on that flame, because really what you're doing is getting your brain into a certain wavelength so that you can tap into the other spiritual realm rather than looking at a bunch of things around you. So being able to like gaze into the fire and focus on that energy so your brain can release and your energy can open is going to help you. But some folks have told me before that they couldn't visualize with their eyes closed, and it was actually rooted in other trauma. It was rooted in other trauma. So know that as well. But we can always look into that. You come to class regularly, so we can always work on that if you choose. How did you learn that you were a healer? How did you decide to take action on this path? Yeah, so I feel like I knew I was healer when I was young, to be honest. Like I had signs of it for sure. Like I was an interesting kid. I was like creating things from scratch, dancing to the sun. I would go outside and like wrap plants around my body when I would feel unwell. Um, and and as I grew up, like I always spent a lot of time with family, and my grandma, actually, one of my grandmas would always tell me that I just had this energy about me. Like I was light and bright, and she was like, I always feel so much better when you're around. And she was like, you're my little one, and you're always so happy. And so I kind of like wondered about it. But I feel like when I officially gave myself the title of healer, it wasn't until like maybe my late 20s or so. Um i like my vision just rapidly started, they just started to come back. And I remember just standing in front of the door like a sliding door, and I just kept hearing like, you're meant for more, you're meant for more, like all these things. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. And then I told my sister, I was like, something like punched me in the stomach. I was like, I don't know what's about to be released, but I don't feel great about it. And she's a psychiatrist. So she was like, Alicia, you should follow like all these things. I was like, I don't think that's it. I was like, also, there's ghosts outside. So I'm going to like leave. Um, and then I started to like manifest heal other healers into my life, and that's how I kind of figured it out. And they helped me unlock a lot of my gifts, and then I just started using them everywhere. It was like download after download, and like learning to teach yoga, making stuff for my apothecary, channeling. Like I have a very unique way of helping people with meditations. That's why I'm also a shaman. So it's like it just kind of unfolded like on its own. And I just chose it. Like it felt right to me, and it felt normal. Everything else around me felt abnormal, but my spirituality felt normal. Um, how do you have a channel about oh wow, do you have a channel about dog training? I don't have it up yet. But my company is called 101 Pups, and I'm in the process of like getting it all together. But you can, from my website, bougiesavageproductions.com, I think it's up already. You can book a consultation, and I was actually going to do some virtual workshops and just some safety tips and things like that. Because actually, when I would hit the road, I would travel around, and I realized that when I was out with my dogs, like everywhere, it didn't matter where I was, people were always asking about them. And I would just see folks like mishandle their dogs, or like almost get into fights, or like abuse them and things like that. And I've always loved dogs. I actually changed my name to Spot when I was younger because I loved Dalmatians. And then I ended up getting a Husky Dalmatian. And my mission is, to like make dog training accessible to people, and to learn how to speak energetically to them, because I do that with my dogs, and that's why they're so good, and they respect me. So I yeah, it's called 101 Pups. I don't have a channel yet, but I need to work on that. I'll add that to my list of things. I'm trying to manifest a larger team. Um, okay, so someone asked, I'm gay. Does that mean I'm going to hell? I personally do not believe that, whatsoever. Everybody is loved, and I think folks have a way of being very not so great when it comes to religion. I don't know if I should go on that long rant. I personally do not believe that. I believe that those who are not of the frequency of love will be met with repercussions. That's how I see it. So if you are a loving person, regardless of being gay, you are fine, my friend. Yeah, someone said no. I love that. The Tanya, please do elaborate. When it comes to spirituality, the gay community actually has a place there, not religion where they place everything in a box and judge everything you do. Yeah, so am I like, and I have been like, I consider myself fluid, and I've dated women and all sorts of things. And so like colonialism has distorted religion and sexuality and cultural like sexuality as well, and healing. So I try not to always like force people into one direction. Like religion has been really messed up, but I also think people have messed up religion, because people can be really messed up and unhealed. So I try not to always blame the one thing, because there's people behind the thing that are causing the trauma, and that's the bigger issue. So I love the LGBTQI plus community. I have been a part of it myself. And so I'm a very open person. So yeah, I completely agree. Folks belong in the spiritual space. And in the city that I live in, there's a lot of churches that are extremely accepting and celebrate pride and all of the things. So yeah, I do know a lot of like religion, or people who are religious, who are also very loving, and just see people for who they are, and acknowledge their uniqueness, right? Because we're not going down the path of like, oh, I don't see color. If anybody says that in the comments, I'm gonna pull you aside. But they acknowledge them, like acknowledge us for who we are. Like, I'm a Black femme. You can like, that's how I am perceived. So acknowledge that. So there are spiritual and religious spaces that are very open to that. Divine alignment 2 nights in a row. Yay! I know. Tuning in after just taking a huge leap to alchemize the stagnancy of my life. Heck yes. And align on my highest timeline. Thank you for my guides and you being here. Oh, you're so sweet. Happy to help. The anonymous group that hacked. Oh. I'm all for people helping. I don't agree with deportation, so I'm an activist, by the way. I am an activist, so I'm for human rights. Yeah, of course. Happy to help. I think building confidence and letting go of fear is where I'm at. Love it. Also, being in the 3D, having to act like a human is feeling harder for me after all these shifts. Really hard to feel dense energies too. Yeah. And, a lot of times people will not want to be in their bodies and forget that their body needs tending to, which is why grounding is so important, and being in nature is required for you to not become stagnant. because you need to be able to alchemize with the earth. And so it's easy to just float away into the universe and get caught in your thoughts inside, especially if you are neurodivergent. I know this, I see it with my clients all the time. So yeah, like you are an energy, but you're also a physical body that you must tend to. And sometimes it's easy to get into that spiritual bypassing space and forget that. Cool about your dog channel. Looking forward to that. Yay! I'm happy to share. Z, is everyone two-spirited? If everyone is born with divine feminine masculine energy, are they two-spirited? Is that something completely different? That's something different. It's something different, but in some cultures, they're kind of considered the same. I personally, like, I feel like in some cultures, the like being two-spirited literally means in the physical sense of like liking two different types of spirits, right? The feminine and the masculine. So in like other language, like more modern language, like kind of fluid or whatever, right? Like bisexual. But I believe that people are just in flow. So technically, like, it depends on what lens you are using. If I were to use like the spiritual lens of two-spirited in that sense, like divine feminine, divine masculine, then yes. But if I was using like sometimes a more indigenous one where like two-spirited can sometimes mean physical body and not just the energy, then no. If that makes sense. I'm not gay. I'm a white Anglo Protestant, born again. Cool. Then why would you even ask the question, Vincent? Okay. Yeah, Vincent, I appreciate the question. We don't need to continue to talk about it. We can move on. If you Google, I will Google it after this. You are loved either way, Vincent. I tried searching, Tanya, didn't find anything. Try Wikipedia. Vincent, let's have better vibes here. This isn't the space for that type of conversation, and I am an activist, so everybody here is like high vibing. So if you're here to act fraudulent, you can take your fraudulence elsewhere, please. You know what? I'm just gonna ban you. I'm over it. Bye, Vincent. Sorry about that, folks. I just don't engage. Like, when we see that type of stuff, just don't even, we're not going to spiral down. I'm just going to, they're banned and gone. I'm over it. I don't play with that kind of energy, and you waste time, which means you waste energy, and then it affects everybody else, and I don't like it. I appreciate all of you standing up for the right thing. I love to see it. Hold on real quick. I need to get my charger. But I ban them either way. I'm not, just for anybody who is new to hi, sorry, TikTok. For some reason it wasn't loading. Spirit, I feel more grounded. The energy can be high. What did you do to remember your dreams? Are you still here, Unshackled? I can answer that for you. Hold on, folks. I'm very big on boundaries, and I'm very big on, like, if the universe serves you up a plate of negativity, make a decision about it. Make a freaking decision about it. Are you going to engage with it? Nah. Like, I don't have energy for that. Hold on. I need to figure out where this charger goes. 1 second. But I do, again, I appreciate all of that. But know that It is my responsibility to handle folks who are being toxic, but I just want to let you all know that I appreciate you stepping in, but know that you don't have to if you don't want to. As a content creator, my belief is every content creator is responsible for their comments, meaning I'm responsible for anybody I let in and out of this space. So if they're causing harm, I'm going to see them out. By see them out, I mean block them. Any thoughts on crystal skulls? I love crystal skulls. I love all crystals. I love skulls. I've always loved skulls, but I learned early on that my skulls are usually my indigenous ancestors, and I also work with Santa Muerte a lot, and that's how the bony version. So that's how they present themselves to me. Of course, happy to help. Yeah, I'll remember that about grounding outside. Do you have recommendations for food? Also, I've only come to the conclusion I need to eat whole foods, less processed. Yes, I always recommend to folks the best rule is the closest to the earth, the better. So anything that crinkles, it's a pass. And if you can get to a farmer's market, if you have access to a farmer's market or some sort of grocery store that has fresh veggies, like I highly recommend, my thing is going to die. I highly recommend you do it because it's high frequency food. Anything from the earth is high frequency. So to feel better, you must also be in the high frequency. Hallelujah. I'm accidentally pinning things left and right. So, can one person have more than one spirit? What do you mean in that sense? Are we talking about two-spirited? Because two-spirited means different things. Are you meaning like your actual soul spirit, or like spirit of love, or like divine? I think verbiage is what's getting crossed here. I think verbiage is what's getting crossed here. Hi, Azure. Good call on that ban. Thank you. Thank you for apologizing. Everyone did the best that they could. But I just want you all to know that you do not have to take on that trauma. I will hold myself accountable and remove it. These headphones are amazing. Thanks. They're my gaming headphones. I'm actually trying to figure out how to stream video games on Twitch, but I have no idea. Like I'm using StreamYard right now. This is about as far as my knowledge goes, but I play a lot of video games and I have no idea what I'm doing. So if anybody knows anything about Twitch, I would highly like to talk to you. Yes, I engaged. Sorry, couldn't hold it in. Soul spirit. Yeah, so most of the time you have the one soul, and then you have the energies of like divine feminine and divine masculine, like you have the energies of the elements like within you as well. So if you are talking about body possession, that's a whole different thing. Like I am able to hold my spirit plus another spirit. So there's that too, which is 10,000% possible. Indoor microgreens growing is awesome too. Yes, it totally is. Then peas and sunflower sprouts grow quickly. They really do. They grow so fast. I love doing indoor growing. It's awesome. Yeah, for sure. I've had the fear of spending money be relevant for me, but yeah, I've lived an abundant mindset without realizing I have been. Fear comes from here. I'll put this up here so folks can see it. Fear comes from family and others too. It's been a lot. Yes. And for folks who are just tuning in, feel free to drop your comments or your questions. You can literally ask me anything about life. And I will answer them. So money has actually been coming up a lot the last week. And I was just talking to someone about this earlier today, having to do that deconditioning of like what your money story was. And it's why I teach Unstoppable Wealth Creators, which is specifically around healing money wounds, because there's so much deconditioning. Because it's not even, it's like our families have taught us so much since the time we were little. Even if it was things that they didn't communicate with us, we're still learning about the frequency of money from everybody around us. Not only that, we are like placed into a society that also values money above people. So then you're constantly chasing after the dollar because you, or depending on where you live in the US, like you're constantly chasing after the dollar because you need it to survive, and then prices go up and all these things. And then in corporate life, it's like, in order for you to make more money and take care of yourself, you have to like bend to their rules. Like it's very like money can be used to manipulate people a lot. And so that, combined with what your family was experiencing, combined with what your ancestors grew up with, deconditioning can feel like so much. And right now the energy is so cleansing that it's gonna smack you in the face so like so hard. I was just talking to someone, and you know, I was encouraging them to like get a financial advisor and like really get it together. And they were quite funny because they went to go do something else at a bank, and the person was asking them a bunch of financial questions. They're like, I feel like this is Z's energy. And I'm like, yes, decondition. The energy is around right now. Everybody just decondition your ways of viewing money so you can receive your manifestations. But it is a lot. And you know, if you're new, like I've had folks on this channel who have been houseless like myself, and so even learning to not give your money away because you're so scared, um and learning to hold the frequency of money is quite challenging when you've gone to having nothing to having more money to having nothing. Like I was in a constant spiral of like yo-yoing things, and like fearing that like folks around me would never have enough, like I didn't have enough. And so I was constantly giving everybody everything I had to take care of them, and never taking care of myself. And so I had to heal that part of me. And then I was also believing the things that, you know, my family had told me around like I just can't hold money. And it was like, no, I'm actually a very loving person. I would give someone all of my things if I knew it would help them and not keep it myself. And so like there's so many things that you know we have to heal, because eventually I started believing, right, like maybe I'm not good with money, or maybe it's like, no, like that's not actually the case. I'm a loving person. I actually need to learn how to hold on to money. I actually need to like, you know, do certain things. So knowing about your own money story is important. By the way, what does it say? I love your energy. I felt when I came into this live stream. Love your username. Oh, yay! Thank you. Why you know a lot? Um, I'm I just know a lot. I'm a very observant person. I read. I'm extremely intelligent also. That was something I had to heal. I hid my intelligence for a very long time because folks were like threatened by it, and I've always been this way. I've always been this way. Someone said I had a genius problem when I was running my business. um, yeah, I know things. I also channel a lot of information, and so like getting information is easy to me. Manifesting resources to learn about something is easy. Uh, I heard that hallelujah was the highest vibration word in the English language. I love that. I love that. Hallelujah. Heck yeah. Om. Hallelujah. Om. Amen. Something that I always say is, I love you. Every time I hear that, I'm just like, wow. Deconditioning around money, for real. For real. That sounds amazing. Yeah. So say it all the time now. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I say it all the time. I love that. Manifesting works weird. What do you mean? What do you mean it works weird? Thoughts on um, thoughts on clutter slash organizing. What is cluttered and what are you organizing? Like physical thoughts or things in your space? Like, are we gonna Marie Kondo it right now? Do you want some advice around that? Because I'm really great at that. I was clowning. I can't tell sarcasm through the comments. People know this. Money wise, I have a 3-year-old and fighting for my older 2 kids. Legal, oops, my bad. Legal battles, living paycheck to paycheck, but I want to quit my job so bad right now, but I don't want to do it irresponsibly for kids. Yeah, I fully understand that. Someone else was talking about that in the comments. Maybe it was you. Maybe it wasn't you. I don't know. Someone else was talking about this on a video. And, you know, have you created some sort of plan for what you want to do so you can shift your energy towards that? Even if you don't jump into it right away, having a plan for receiving new money or receiving new opportunities and slowly moving forward without quitting your job right away for your kids is going to help you. So I don't know if you've done that yet. So Tawny said both. Yeah. So I am so bananas at decluttering and organizing things, because I also have a very deep connection to Buddhism as well. So organization and the flow of energy is just really important to me in terms of like sentimental clutter and healing from. Oh wait, let me do this instead. Sentimental clutter and healing from being ghosted even when better off now. Um, yeah. So I would write down the attachment to being ghosted, like what it was that you were feeling. I've actually had that happen to me. Um, and I had to sit with it and really ask myself why it was that I got ghosted. What was I doing that made that occur, and what did I learn about myself? Like what did I tell myself? Which ended up being like, oh, I'm not worthy of this. Like how did I not see it coming, right? So I had to like go back to the beginning of that interaction and unpack the entire situation so I can see the poor choices that I probably made, and and understand myself so deeply, and understand why that person was in my life, because a lot of times people are there to teach us a lesson about our self-worth and how we value ourselves. And so it was also a lesson. But decluttering, it really comes down to your healing work, like how often you're actually sitting into your heart space, right? Like, so coming to Z School for the Gifted so we can clear out, energetically clear out, and talk about that heart space energy, because that's where it all comes from, like sentimental, like energetic stagnancies, and healing from being ghosted. That was actually a really hard one for me. Eventually they came back around, and then I was just fully honest, because I was like, no, like no, this is not happening. But it can take a heavy hit on your self-worth, and so I just invite you to be easy on yourself, and continue to fill your cup with as much love and happiness as you can, so that you can remember that even though this person treated you a certain way, doesn't mean you're not worthy of true unconditional love, right? Because the ghosting and all that stuff, like that's conditional love. And so sometimes it'll also hurt even more deeply. Like for myself also, I had come from a family that kind of weaponizes silence, and so when someone does that to me, it hits me differently. And so I had to really heal through that, and look at the facts and be like, what is this person doing, and ask myself, am I okay with this behavior? Or like, do I need to articulate to people like, hey, this is kind of a trigger for me. So are you able to like, in this phase, I usually say in this phase of my life, I'm needing X, Y, and Z. Like, if that's not something that you can do, totally fine. Like, I'm not going to be communicating with you because right now I'm healing and it hurts me, and I don't want to interact with you because you just do whatever. Right. So it's also being in that self advocacy energy. Um, any tips on how to remember your dreams? I know I'm definitely on a whole soul journey in them and getting messages from my guides, but they do like to surprise me on my ascension as a healing medium. Yeah, so a lot of the times, interesting, that's how you see things. SD Benson. I don't know which part you're referring to. Um, a lot of the times, not remembering your dreams can be a few different things, like too much energy around in your space is one of them. Too much energy within your own mind. So, having a cluttered mind that requires a lot more processing when you go to sleep. So, if you're not doing your meditations consistently, if you're not journaling, if your rising routine is not suitable for your brain to actually slow down by the time you get to bed, it's going to be really hard for you to remember any dreams because your brain is trying to process all the information from the entire day. So, that can also be happening. And then sometimes if folks are going through a lot of changes or have experienced trauma recently or are in deep healing, their brain goes into like self-preservation because they're trying to process. So if you're like releasing anything right now, sometimes not recalling your dreams can make it more challenging. Something I always recommend to folks is to have like some sort of journal or book that you can keep next to your bed where you can write down your dreams first thing when you wake up, like literally first thing when you wake up, even if it's not like full detail. If you just write down a feeling or something you remember or like draw, it can like recondition your brain to recall what was actually happening. So let's go to following God's nudges in the direction of reviving my massage career that died with COVID. I think I'm just impatient, want to quantum leap into my divine healing path. I feel like a lot of people right now, the energy. I feel like because we're also sensing this quantum leap and like things that are happening all around us. So it's so easy to get impatient because you're like, what is all this energy? And you're like, all these good things are coming, but like when are they coming? And if you're spiritually awakening, it can feel a little bit more like intense. And you know, I used to like it's really okay. Let me slow down because I'm having a lot of thoughts. So something that folks tend to fall into when they're on their spiritual awakening journey, especially if they're becoming quite psychic, which a lot of folks are right now, is you start to make decisions too quickly because of the energy you are sensing and the messages that you are getting of like goodness is coming and all this stuff. But I will tell you, as a seer, there's sometimes I get messages like a couple years in advance, and so I had to learn the hard way to be patient. And even for people who were coming into my life or going to communicate something, it was like it would be like months ahead. But we have to remember that everything happens at one time. Time doesn't exist. So just because it feels like we can feel it coming closer because the energy's coming closer, but doesn't mean it's technically on the same time frame as we are. So I love that you're being honest about being impatient. I definitely have goals, hopes, and dreams. I'm being called to sit back and receive in divine feminine energy. I feel very similar to you. I signed up for the Thursday class. Yay! I'm so excited to see you there. Everybody should come. Everybody should come to the Thursday class. Everybody on this call, come to the Thursday class. Thursday class. It's so much fun. I love it. The community is friggin' awesome. And like just seeing how far they've advanced in the last like month or like 2 months, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. Like someone went from like not really understanding their gifts to now working with local police department to help them solve crimes. Like I was like, if that ain't a comic book, I don't know what the heck is. um I'm taking aligned action, but I caught myself wanting to do things out of fear, lack, and scarcity. So I literally had to pause myself today and tell myself it's okay. I did some arts and crafts. I love that. That's amazing. Yeah, that happens to me too. Like when I start getting really antsy or like pushy or weird. I'm like, I'm gonna go sit by the water and just lay on the sand and bring nothing except for maybe like my book. And then I'm gonna get into the water and I like turn off my phone and I'm like, nothing. I am nothingness. Or I like alchemize through like my watercolor that I have on my desk, or I'll write fantasy stories and things like that. Oh, thanks for the heart. Awesome. Thank you. Uh, awesome. Thank you. Time to unpack both. I love that. Love what you suggested exactly on the weaponized silence. Yeah, it's really harmful. It's super harmful. And a lot of the times when you're dealing with people who do that, you have to become silent and consistently choose yourself. It's really odd because even if you choose to interact with it because they've used silence for so long and that's what they lean into, your interactions can sometimes be more traumatic. And so you have to walk away. You have to walk away from it and put them into their own silence so they can realize what they've done. I need to make more time for arts and crafts. Yes, do it. It's so much fun. It is so much fun. Ooh, a late night. Yes, it is a late night. Ask some questions. Late night tea with Z Ask Me Anything uncensored. It's uncensored, so I'll answer it. Um, totally, art and creativity is so wonderful. When I decluttered more lately, it helped me immensely. Yeah, I get advised by my guides. Hi TikTok. I get advised from my guides all the time about decluttering my space. And I've loved it. There was a time last year where I had way too much, like way too many things, and I was thinking about how much money I've spent in the past of like moving and like every time I moved, folks were like, "Oh, like let's have a housewarming." And I'm like, "For what? There's things in the house already. What do we need more for? I don't want to carry it." Do you know how much I spent on a moving truck? And I just got so over it. And so I donated everything. I donated everything that I had. And now I have like what fits into a suitcase and it feels so nice. It feels so nice. Um, I have like some dresses and 4 pairs of shoes and myself. And that's it. That's it. And it feels really nice, especially when like I'm gonna travel and stuff. And it's like, folks are like, "Oh, like how long is it gonna take you to move?" And I'm like, "A half a fucking second because I've got a suitcase and I just have to zip it." And just energetically, like the more stuff you have around you, the more your energy pulls out from your body. And it's very lovely to decondition from greed, from like greed and gluttony and like having too much. Like you never need as much as you think. And that's why I also go to farmers market because I have access to be able to do that. I love the farmers market and like buying what I need for that week and seeing what I eat and only buying that amount. um and it's just it's so great. And when I stayed in Europe for a while, like it's like not uncommon to like buy your groceries that night for dinner. So I love doing that because I was like, oh, I never know what I'm gonna need, and things don't usually go bad. Oh, you're feeling like a mirror. Now I need to declutter. I have been struggling on time for deep cleaning. I guess struggling with time in general. Yeah, and the funniest thing is time doesn't exist. Um, but once you declutter, I feel like you'll have a very clear mind and it just feels good. Like I donate a lot of my stuff. And there was a time when I was really nervous because I didn't really have a lot. I didn't have a lot, but it was a part of my journey. And I I went to like sell my things because one of the times I sold it because I needed money. And basically, because I've been houseless before and I know brands, so I would go to the thrift store to get the nice brands and resell them basically at other places to get the cash. And I I had sold my stuff, and then Spirit had me go back to the store the next day, and someone was buying it, and I got to see how happy they were. They were so happy. And I had said to them, oh, I just sold this bag yesterday. And they're like, why did you sell this? It's so cute. And I was like, honestly, watching how happy you are is like the best thing that Spirit could have like given me in this moment. And then we had a whole conversation about music and their grandpa passing away. So it's like you never know why you do things, but decluttering it's such a nice practice to have, and it keeps you grounded and not like trying to take things from other people, and appreciating what you do have. And there's been many times Spirit has guided me to give away very very expensive things, like my really nice, it makes me like shifty, my really nice camera and my Phoenix watch and all those things. And I just like surrender, like someone else is going to enjoy it. And I remember growing up and going to thrift stores with my grandma and my mom and being so happy because I found that one piece that was like for me, and I don't know why anybody sold it or like brought it in or donated it, but I was like, you know what, it was meant for me. And then I would just give my stuff away because I'm like, whoever this is meant for, it's meant for them, and it's going to bring them so much joy. So we just pass on more love. For real, me too. The career relaunch, likewise, so relatable. Yeah, me as well. Some aren't mine. Yeah, time management is so hard, always has been for me, so you're not alone with that. Yeah. And time management can get really tricky, especially when you're on your spiritual awakening journey, because you start to like kind of float through time, bend time, like do all this stuff. And me being neurodivergent and like ADHD, all those things. So I had to like learn how to ground myself, and I teach my clients to do that too. It's really just a matter of like reconditioning. I'm hoping to make it to the one after this one. Yay! Awesome! Fingers crossed. It's some Alison Dubois vibes. I love that. I want to do. Hold up. I want to do things like creative workshops and have a community where I do more arts and crafts with people of all ages. Really, I've been healing and calming down from chaotic world. Yeah, I love that. Crafts are so awesome. My friend Armida actually does like art healing in LA, and she does it for what is it called? I don't know the politically correct name, but where folks who are more up in age will be and live together. She usually goes to those communities and like teaches them art, and they love it. Hazy, hi. Is it possible for religious trauma to cloud the process of tapping into or discovering your spiritual gifts? Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, 10,000%. Because sometimes religion has been so heavily colonized or used to colonize, that it teaches you that your own gifts are wrong. And I heavily grew up in the Catholic Church, who tried to teach me that the occult was wrong. And I like me and my sisters were always getting in trouble because I was like, well, I don't understand why it's wrong, because you want me to light candles and I light candles at home for, so there's like many things, but you can become reconditioned, to believe that your gifts, which are actually used quite a bit in religion in the exact same way, are wrong, and they're not. They're really not. So, yeah, it can totally block your spirituality. Um, I like to call it like church hurt and things like that. But I also think there's some value in churches as well when it's managed correctly, and it's not culturally appropriated, and it's in those spaces that your gifts will actually thrive. But it can, yeah. There's a lot of trauma that comes from religion and things like that can keep us from being who we want to be. Um, do you have advice for empaths in general? I bought a black tourmaline bracelet while I was employed because I couldn't stand the negativity I felt daily. I imagine white light of protection around me also. Yeah, empaths, it comes down to your ability to shield yourself, because bracelets and things like that, they don't matter. Like they like put a small dent on things, but in order for them to be the most impactful, your energy has to basically also tell it what to do, and you have to be able to shield. So, learning how to protect your own energy is going to help every single empath. And also just being honest with yourself. Like, I was talking to my friend, Moss, and, we were all at EDC last year, and I ended up going quite late, which I regretted. And me being an empath and a medium and a seer, it gets like the energy gets so dark. There were like literal devil heads on all the screens, and the music all sounded the same, and it like brought something else out of me. And so you just have to be mindful of the environments and just realize that you're an empath and not every space is going to be for you. So again, like advocating for yourself, but shielding, learning how to shield really good is what's important. I do it all the time, even in Z School for the Gifted, because, there's all different folks in there. And so I wouldn't be able to channel their energy unless I was good at shielding, because I would just be absorbing everything. But the more you practice it, the better you get at it. That's good to hear, because I thought my minimalist lifestyle um, was a trauma that needed to be healed. I feel validated. Good. No, like I mean, it obviously depends on why you do it, but like it's good for your mind and it's good for your body and your soul, because energy wise. So if you naturally do that, like shout out to that. Peace, fresh one. What do you mean? Fresh one, can you elaborate? Um, thought you were gonna bounce. Our meetups are awesome. So much hurtful religious um exactly. Yeah, it's unfortunate, like um it's unfortunate how a lot of churches can't quite see that, and they don't realize that a lot of things in church were also appropriated from other cultural practices. um, so they don't actually know the history of like where it came from. Like, my friends and I talk about like foot washings and things like that, which is an African practice. So like there's many connections, and it's just people not educating themselves, unfortunately. And that's why it's up to us to be able to like stay educated and be open. And to me, like there's a lot of good people still in churches, and I've had the pleasure of meeting many of them, and many of them are energy healers, and they do struggle within like church spaces, because there's still a good amount of folks who like who my friend was getting reported because she did a ladies study, but she's also an energy healer like me. And so they reported her to the church, and I was like, who are you reporting to? Your mama? Like you're 5, like I'm like, I get it, but like, no, like, can we just have a conversation? It's 2025. We've been there, done that. Um, so yeah, it's unfortunate how deep folks can be into that energy of like being so fearful that they will hate other people and their practices, unfortunately, because it's the opposite of what most religions usually teach, unfortunately. Hi D. EDC is like a huge electronic dance festival. And the one I went to was in Vegas. And I love like EDM type music. It's a lot of the music that I make. Well, sometimes I also make my flashlights on. I also make kind of alternative and rap a little bit, but it's so much fun. It's very high frequency. If I could spend my entire life going to like festivals, I would. I would. I totally would. Um, that makes sense about shielding. I watch a lot of tarot readings for comfort, also because it's felt trippy being here and spiritually awakening. I did so while working at a warehouse. Yeah, sometimes the readings are really helpful as long as you have a balance of staying rooted in your earthly realm to help you out. I keep forgetting about Instagram. Polarity brand, we have to connect. I'm a practitioner as well. You purchased the kimono from me. I'm a shamanic energy medicine healer seeking more like, oh yay. So this person was amazing. I bought a really beautiful kimono from them before. I think it's still on my page. I had brought it with me to the reality TV show that I did, and I took some pictures and stuff in it. And they're so sweet. They're amazing. They're based out of LA. They're called Polarity Brand. You all should buy things from them. They're great. But I totally missed their message, so I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to message them back. I know I'll meet more of my soul tribe and connect with them in divine timing. Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, your soul tribe is outside. Um, yeah, your soul tribe is outside most of the time. Like it'll begin like in virtual spaces. Like a lot of folks who come to Z School for the Gifted, like they end up meeting each other, and then it opens up their energy to their soul tribe, and then they go out and like start traveling. But your soul tribe is always going to be where your highest self is the happiest and doing the things that you love. Reporting to your mama, exactly. Yeah, that's basically what I call it. And I for a while would go into church and I would feel really small, and then I started going in with my African markings, and I was like, I don't care. And I just kept telling myself, like, I'm here to connect with God because God sent me here, and there's people I need to know, and there's like folks I need to talk to, and so it has nothing to do with any of you. So if I'm going into this space and I'm feeling insecure about it, it's because of me, and I don't agree with what they're saying, but I am also capable of standing my ground. That's literally how I go in all the time, because I'm like, if you want to say something to me, you can say it to God. Take it up with God. You can report me to God, but God already knows. I grew up in the church as well, but never fully felt connected to it in the same way as most people in church. Yeah, my father's a pastor, so I definitely working on deprogramming. Yeah. It's a lot, especially if you have someone who's a pastor. My dad wasn't a pastor, but my mom's best friend was, and he was around all the time. So I don't quite know, but I kind of get what you're saying, and it's a lot to like unlearn and feel comfortable within. Are you going to the Quantum Fest? I don't think so. I should double check. I don't know if I heard anything back, to be honest, but I'm going to double check. My email has been acting cray. So, and things go to spam all the time. Like there was a time where my bookings for my website were all getting trapped in junk somewhere. And I was like, well, that's an issue. Oh, lots going on in churches. That's why I departed, and how they be over here lurking and being nosy. Yeah, all the time. I go in there. I go into church, and because folks are like, hey, like I have a ministry, and I'm like, I have a ministry too, and I have a craft. Like it's like, and I always just prepare myself, because it's like, if someone were to question my ministry, aka my YouTube my YouTube channel, like I would literally ask them, like, are you telling me that my entire culture is wrong and that God's going to send all the African practices to hell? Sometimes you have to ask these questions because it's ridiculous. So, you got to do your thing. Leanna, same about tarot readings. I think we are definitely connected in the quantum. I love that. See, finding soul tribe. Hope you'll share your music too. So psyched to discover your channel. Yeah, my music, there's 2 songs that are out that I have. I'm working on another one right now. Technically I'm working on 3 of them. And I just like I need to like record in a studio or something. I need to do that, because when I try and record at home, it's like my energy gets distorted. So I think I might have do I have a preview on my phone? I might. Let's see here. I have like 5 seconds of a song that I recorded with the person I went on a date with for Valentine's Day. I'm mad I didn't finish it. I'm mad I didn't finish it. This was one of them. Let's see if you can hear it. This one was one we made in like 2 seconds. Can you hear that? I'm gonna ask my friend. I'm gonna ask my friend Jeremy to fix it. I'm gonna send him and be like, "So, can you finish this?" That's one of them. I don't know if you could hear it, but and then I have another song. This is the audio for it. It's more of a Britney Spears vibe, is what I like to say. It's kind of fun, right? I'll fast forward. I love making music. I need to do it more. I'm also working on I don't know if I want to share that one yet. I'm not ready. I just wrote another one, and it's I think it's this one. No, not that one. It's this one. It's called Straight to You. It's kind of an emo song, but I wrote it and it basically acknowledges femmes or anybody who has been abused or like sexually abused, but it's not like as blunt as that, but the lyrics kind of hint to that, and learning how to fall in love again, because there's like this journey of feeling safe within your body, feeling safe to go on dates, feeling safe to trust people. So that one is called it's called Straight to You. So it's like emotional, and then it goes into like falling in love. I love it so much. So I'm gonna keep making this music as much as I can. Yeah, it sounds nice. Yes, I desire to travel and go out and expand. You definitely need to travel. It's so much fun, and it's great for spiritual awakening energy. Stand your ground and stay true. Yeah, for sure. Is anyone on the twin flame journey right now? Okay. Yes. I heard the divine masculine and feminine twin flames will meet in the middle because I'm awakened and my boyfriend is still in the Matrix game. Yeah, the twin flame journey is bananas. I am also on it, and as a seer, I will say it is one of the most challenging things to go through, being a seer, just in general, because you like know so much that you just have to like wait and heal and like do all the things. But where are you like at in terms of like what are you wanting on your twin flame journey? Like I feel like it goes through many phases. Like there's like the shocking beginning of when you learn who your twin flame is, that comes and slaps you in the face by the universe, and then God, spirit, ancestors are like smack you in the face confirming it because you're like in denial. And then you're like have all this quantum entanglement, and then you also meet false flames before you meet your twin flame, so that you can recognize the crappy things that you were doing before. And then you go through this thing like with your twin, and you like mirror each other. So it's like if one of you is doubting that the other one likes you too, then they're like you're both doing it. Like that's like what the funniest thing is, because you're like you're whole by yourself, but you're two parts, right? Soul wise. Twin flames are such an interesting thing, and I actually found out who my twin flame was through my indigenous ancestors. And then, yeah. And then I doubted it. And then they would just like, boom, 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 blast me with visions and sounds and all these things. And then I was like, I think I told this on another video. I was like, fine, I'm going to get a soulmate sketch. Prove it. And then it was their face. And I freaked the heck out. I freaked the heck out. Freaked the heck out that I got more sketches. And then it was their face again. And I was like, only God can do this. It's like, these are different people from all over the world. And I was like having a panic attack for a little while. And then I made like the best first impression, sarcastically. And so I was like, what do you mean? I already did something stupid. That was really funny. I was like, so about this situation, like, what do I need to do on this side being a seer? Because do I just like, wait, I can like hear and sense what they're doing. And as a seer, like whatever your twin is doing will come into your 3D. So I just spend my time talking to my twin's energy in other people. Like, or it'll just come. They'll be like, hey, I like this, or I like this, or I need this. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like what else? Tell me who you are. We should all lurk our local churches. Tanya, that's amazing. You should 10,000% do that. Do it. I do it. I consider it a mission, like a total mission. And I'll look around, like I'll look at people's bracelets and I'm like, oh, like they have adventuring on. I should talk to them. Like if someone has like what is it? I'm blanking on the stone. Like something regular, you know, like, you may not even know what that is. Like you might just like purple. Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you. Thanks everybody. It's finally loading. That's not falling in love. What was that one? So the last one I played, which is technically also about my twin, and falling into love is about my false twin. My false twin. This one I'm naming Straight to You, and that one I'm working on right now. So I'm hoping I'll have that one out relatively soon. Yeah. So the other one is Falling into Love. That's the one that is out right now on YouTube and like on Spotify. And this one's Straight to You. I feel like jack of all trades, master of none with like creative stuff. Love music, writing. Yeah. It's like all of a sudden your gifts just start exploding from every direction. I was telling my client that today. And I was like, if you're like trying to make money, like go towards the one that's making money first so you can ground your pentacles and then continue with the rest of your crafts like simultaneously. So relatable. Yeah. Straight to You sounds amazing. So relevant. Yeah, that's how I feel too, because I feel like it's so needed. And as I was listening, like I'm always listening to music. I always have headphones on basically. And I was just like, can we get a song that's about something? Like I was like flipping through songs. I was like I'm tired of folks singing about nothing. And so I'll listen to like older music, or I'll just listen to like EDM music because the energy is really good. But I'm like, no, I'm an activist and I want to share that with people and like acknowledge how hard it can be when you're healing from trauma and trying to fall in love. Or like you meet a false twin, like a false twin flame, and you're like, this is so great. And then it like, no. Mine choose wrong, but y'all know that by now. Is that what that was some BS? I don't know what that's referring to. Definitely, I definitely feel like I came into this life not as a beginner in a lot of ways. Yeah. I mean, your soul continues where it left off. The beginning was rough. It's lovely now, but he's in fear and scarcity. I think we'll get married at some point too. Yeah. And you know, sometimes you can have growth outside of your relationship and always come back together as well if you're not growing together, because that's also really important. to be able to excel. And, you know, my sister had shared with me at the most perfect time, which kind of led me to where I am today. And she was like, Alicia, because that's my English name. She was like, Alicia, you know, you don't actually have to stick around to wait for someone to grow if you're growing. And I was like, that's hurts my soul, but it also makes a lot of sense. And to give yourself permission to do what's best for you. Twin flame. If anyone is confusing you, move on and move on until you are no longer confused. That part, yes. Yeah. The whole point of the journey is to take care of yourself, anyways. The whole point of the journey, especially if you are the one who embodies the divine feminine energy, gender not included. Like, you don't wait for your masculine, you just do what you want. I feel like my most recent situations has my karmic soulmate, and I can't wait to move out and start my new path. I'm sure my twin flame will come with divine time now that I'm on my true path. Yeah, 10,000%. Your twin is always on your highest timeline. When you start shining and stepping into your power, they're there, and they're always there already. And it's just a matter of like learning to read their energy. And I didn't realize how far back it actually went. And I realized that it was all the way back to when I was younger, like way, way, way younger. I started piecing stuff together and I was like, no wonder I was being so weird. Because you're like infinite, you're already attached. So the more that you are connected to them, the more you pick up on their energy, the more your entire life is going to make sense. I had a few false twin flames, but this one definitely my mirror. He's my twin, and it's a love I've never had before. I never thought it could be possible. So it's healing and wonderful, but was not easy. Yeah. It's that growth, that twin growth. It's completely possible to have a relationship that's not exhausting. Yeah. It's like we've been taught it's not though. Yeah. Like we stick around because that happened to me. It happens to many people. It's why folks get caught in relationships that are quite harmful and toxic to them. And I remember when I first got married, you know, I was constantly telling people, I was like, no, I'm having a hard time. Like we're not like, we don't have the means to communicate to each other, which we didn't like then. And they're like, you know, like, some things are just challenging. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's challenging because we're like both unwilling to do certain things. You know, like there wasn't a way to articulate it, but like in hindsight it's like, oh, we're both super traumatized and that's why we can't manage things. And then there's the part that everything happens for a reason, but yeah, like, and even like you can see it more easily with friendships. Like I've had so many friendships that were just awful and hard because I wasn't healed all the way, and now all my friendships are like a cakewalk. Like even like we just understand each other because they're soul tribe. Yes, it's so easy with them. I love that. So many years wasted, so many years in growth. Exactly. Music with, yeah, like give me some sustenance. Like give me something else. I have another one that's it's called The Uprising. It's actually quite cinematic sounding. That one, it like requires a different energy from me that I haven't been able to feel comfortable with lately. But I'll play, I think it's this one. My nose itches. Let's see. This one's very different sounding. I'm really excited for this one. It's more of like an activist kind of song. And like when I started recording it, I was going through so much stuff. I was in Miami, and I was actually going through a severe energy siphoning. And my producer and I were recording at their place in this beautiful skyrise, and they're amazing. Their name is Zaza, and they're Ukrainian, and so she was always like with her thick accent, which I love. She was like, "Give me more," like all these things, and then she said something like, um, I like couldn't bring it to the mic then, like my energy wasn't right. And she said something about sustainability and like how they didn't recycle, and I just like lost it. And she was like, "Get behind the mic. That's the energy I need." And I was like, "Wait a minute, we need to talk about you not being sustainable." I was like all these things. And then the energy started to come out, and then I started recording, and then I've been recording again on it. But music is such a journey. I used to think that it was because of my ADHD that I was having a hard time write songs from start to end, but I believe channel through singing. Yeah, like it's it's a whole craft. Like I feel like I personally do better when there's a producer there, because I need someone to take over the logistics of it so that I can create. Like when I was with the producer on Valentine's Day, we made like 3 songs in one night because they were leading and I could just flow and create, and I write songs in like 2 seconds. And so they were like composing everything. So I've never seen anybody compose so fast. But like when I'm by myself creating it, I'm like, I don't know what buttons to click. And then I'm like, now I'm thinking about the buttons instead of thinking about what I'm supposed to be singing. I'm wanting to expand and travel. He's very much like, oh my God, I have to grip tight to the reins. And I'm like, but I'm ready to fly and jump. I already jumped from my job and we'll see where I land. Yeah, sometimes you're just on different pages for a little while. Hopefully, we'll step out of remnants of fear and scarcity, because that ish is exhausting. Yes, it is. Church is definitely something that is serious. I feel so uncomfortable. I feel so uncomfortable while in church. Oh, question is being in a same-sex relationship a sin? That's what the church teaches. We had this question earlier. I love that this keeps coming up. I personally don't think it is an issue because I don't believe in certain foundational beliefs of the church. Certain man-made parts of the church and cultural practices that have been appropriated. So I personally believe that spirit loves you as you are. And like to me also, like even if there was some sort of like spirit wasn't okay with it, like that has nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like um the church, certain churches like to meddle in other people's lives and make them feel fearful. But it's like we all need to just let people live. But I personally don't think there's anything wrong with it whatsoever, because like the church stole from other practices. So I question its validity in some senses. And the history of things that they like to share and teach. So those are my beliefs. And religion was also used to colonize people. So there's many things that are inherently wrong with it. And if God has an issue, God will handle it. Like that's my thing. I'm like, if we're talking all of these things, like if God is like here making decisions, like wouldn't God handle it? Like I don't understand. Um, can you go a little more into that? Like, is it possible my twin flame's energy was an imaginary friend or something as a child during play? How far back are we talking? Yeah, 10,000%, because your energy is the same. You're one, but you're just experiencing 2 different lives in the same like earthly kind of space simultaneously. So their energy doesn't like not be around you, like, because you're meant to exist together. And so kids are closest to the realm. And so things that you did when you were younger, um things that you did when you were younger are going to be tied to your soulmate, soul connections, your twin connections, because you're already so connected. It's just you didn't have the tools back then to be able to articulate it. Like there were so many folks that are in my life now that I was channeling when I was younger, down to the names. And my mom would sometimes ask me things, because like why is your ringtone the Canadian anthem? I'm like, so it's like you learn that, like, you were so gifted back then. You were able to pick up on energy that is happening now that is actually from your twin and from other soulmates and things. So yeah, it can go as far back, because when you're thinking about like lifetimes and lifetimes, like it's all happening at the same time. So like it can go way far back from before you were physically born in this space. Like it's all the same. That's when you're the closest, actually, before you kind of incarnate into your body. But yeah, like you will be picking up on their energy for a very, 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 very long time. And you'll start to realize, depending on how spiritual you are and how much of a sage you are, and all those things, that everything you did in your life aligns with their life, like fully aligns with their life. Could be like where they live, how they speak, their interests, how they look, how they help the world, how they work, like all sorts of stuff. And then you just realize that you are the same person, just split in half in two different in two different bodies. And that's what's so creepy. That's what's so creepy. So of course their energy is around, because you are the same energy. Wow. This is a fun conversation. Oh, interesting. Give me some sounds like a song waiting to be written. I mean, I wrote a song. I didn't make a tune to it, but I called it Sex at the Sushi Bar. It was a slapper. It was a rap. Because I was in Miami, and um I also had chosen, like, I choose to be celibate for long periods of time for my energy and like manifestation. And just like, I don't like when people touch me, unless I have like a deep connection with them. And I remember finally meeting someone that I was like, oh, like, and then my energy just went poof out of my head. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to write this song about them. And we were at a sushi bar, and I was like, this would be a great song. It was interesting. It was interesting. You like the beat? Yay, this resonates with my soul. The song, yeah, it's like very ancestral. It's like an ancestral calling song, but it's also about activism. That's why I called it the uprising. So it's kind of like the uprising of us light workers and earth angels and healers and indigenous activists coming out and like basically taking things back without being noticed. I like it. Are you going to have fire breathers in the video? Oh my goodness, I would love fire breathers. I met fire breathers when I was in Charlotte, and they kept having me try and go to these events. And I'm such a like, put me into a circus and I'm happy as a clam. So I want to do all the things. I have so many ideas. I have so many ideas. Hope you'll do a tour of small gatherings, sharing your music and classes with dance breaks and group readings and crafts. How fun would that be? Are you channeling right now? Are you in my diary? Who sent you? That's like my goal. I made a list of places. I made a list of places. I'm such a creative, and I'm big on community. So that's like literally what I want to do. 10,000%. And bring healing. Oh my gosh, yes. It's okay, let me pin this one. Is it possible to consciously recover from clinical depression, anxiety, but the subconscious hasn't registered the recovery? I feel like the recovery comes when the subconscious registers it. Because if your subconscious is still triggering you, you're not quite recovered. Because the subconscious is what kind of drives many things about clinical depression and anxiety, while depression and anxiety can surface to the outside of your body and have like an emotional response. It starts from deeply embedded trauma that is heavily subconscious. And also why a lot of folks do like hypnotherapy and things like that to get to the subconscious level. So I feel like it wouldn't be possible to be able to be like quote unquote recovered if your subconscious is not also healed. Yeah, I need to collab with someone like that dude who walks around in your scene mixing beats and just flow. Yeah, do it. I love New York. I miss New York. Every time I'm in New York, I feel like a different person. Even when I would go by myself, I'm just like, oh, I can take on the world. And I love how direct people talk. I'm like, thank you for speaking to me directly. I appreciate it. And like some folks, I was telling my friend, I was like, yeah, some folks are like, why is this person like pointing at me and like doing all these things? I was like, why are you worrying about it? why are you worrying about it? Why are you mad you're being acknowledged? People are sad they can't get acknowledged. I'm like, which one do you want? Like, I loved it. Someone's like, hey, you. And I'm like, yeah. Thank you for being direct. That would be so much fun. If a church makes you confused to like any relationship, move on till you're not confused. Yes, Tanya has the best advice. If you are confused, you keep moving forward. I love that. Quantum Divine, I love your response. This one says, my twin loves the Alien franchise and Twilight Imperium and is really creative too. He's an amazing artist and smart, philosophical person. I love that. I'm cutesy, creative, empath, nurturing, yin and yang for sure. I love that. The Alien franchise is wild. I was just talking to someone about that and Twilight. Like, I was just watching Twilight. And I was doing things with Alien. Even though it's like so cheesy, there's some like the way they did Twilight, it just like it gets you. It's one of those things where I'm like, I don't understand why. And when I first got married, I was like, I'm gonna have a Twilight wedding. And then I did, and it didn't have a happily ever after. I should have known. And I'm just kidding. But I fucking nailed it. If all were welcome, it's not the actual. Yeah. I'm really happy I hopped on this live stream tonight. I love hearing about all this stuff and chatting in the comments. Yeah, me too. I'm going to stick around for like a little bit longer, then I'm going to head out so I can go to bed. Your curtain looks like rabbit. That was art. It's 11:11. What? 11:11. It does kind of look like that rabbit. That's funny. I didn't think about that. Dang, Z, what if a person didn't split so the twin flame is inside of them? What if that's two spirit? Oh. I don't know if that would work. Like, I am curious how the science behind that works. Because there's like the twin flames, right, that are one. I mean, maybe that's how folks who are asexual, maybe they're their own twin flame. You're onto something. I want to know the science behind it. Like, can a physical body actually hold the one flame? I'm sure there's books on it, but I'm going to ask the universe. We should all ask the universe and reconvene at Tea with Z for a late night conversation to figure this out. What? Ancient eyes. That's how I feel. Hi, Moss? Is this moss, right? Moss? It does look like a bunny curtain. That's so funny. Bunny curtain. Follow the white rabbit. Good night, ancient eyes. I'm such a night person. This is my dream to do a live stream also at night and talk to people. I've had imposter syndrome big time. Also, goals for real, for real. It could be like a sleepover vibe, like meeting in a conference room with smaller hotels, but then people could go back to their rooms to have their space. Oh my gosh, I love sleepovers. I love sleepovers. That's why I also love retreats, because like you can all hang out. Like I did one in Costa Rica, and there was like this dome. It's like a raised dome. It was so cool, where we would like go do yoga, and we could like hang out, and you can take naps in there. But then you're like, I'm over it. I want to go back to my space. Then you could. I've done Joe Dispenza meditation and haven't done hypnotherapy on a deep level. I've overthought that. I've had a lot of things really, but yeah, I highly recommend it. I need to wake up soon, but don't want to leave. No, facts. I have to wake up soon too. It's been amazing. I know. Namaste. Get some rest. Yes, I think we should probably all get to sleep. We've talked about so many topics. I've been live for 2 hours. I love this. Do you all love this? Come to Z School for the Gifted if you haven't gotten your spot. Come to Z School for the Gifted. We're doing heart chakra and throat clearing on Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, to help with manifestation energy before June. Like they are their own twin flames, right? You like, I mean, why not? Anything is possible. I had someone try to become my twin flame, and that was how they siphoned my energy. There was that. It's Moss, me. Love to see the joy and believe one could hold the flame spread split, being the same light. That sounds so nice, a retreat. I love it. Thank you. Yeah, I actually am trying to get my link, but I am planning one in Thailand. But yeah, okay, friends, it's time to go to sleep and get some rest, and I will be seeing you all very soon. And for ZTV, I'm going to be going live on Friday with my amazing friend Ethany, who is the sister of Azure, who I went live with yesterday, and we're gonna do that was a vampire. Yeah, for real. They were. I should do a ghost stories one, or like a energy siphoning, like, because it was a journey. It was wild. My body like literally almost died. But yeah, I'm gonna be going live on Friday, and we're gonna be doing a live canning cooking class, because our company is called Big Mama's Preserves, and a lot of folks are learning how to do things for themselves now instead of working with big box companies. And so I want to make sure that we are all being as resourceful as possible, and share as much knowledge from my beautiful community who also want to give back and help. So definitely join me live on Friday. I'll be at her house, and come say hi, and it'll be in the evening, not as late as this. I think we scheduled for 4 p.m. So it'll be about an hour. Yeah, it'll be 4 p.m. Pacific on this Friday. And then I'm bringing back Patrick Hart, who is the reality TV star and did the same reality TV that I did on The Block season 16. And we're going to be talking about life and all things. So come ask questions. He's an amazing human being, phenomenal at social media, and just his energy in person is wild. It's like, I don't even know. Very powerful, very, very powerful person, and an amazing coach. So I hope to see you all there. I'm going to sign off. Good night, everybody. Rest easy. Thumbs up back to you, Tanya. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to sign up for Z School for the Gifted. I'll see you all there. Goodbye.